Hi, everybody. Sorry we're running a few minutes late.
Hello, folks.
Oh my gosh, Steve. Everybody just sees your big white head. Leo, you're going to say hi? Say hi to all your fans. Oh, your fam. You got to show your cute little noggin. Yeah, is that your good side? So tonight I thought we could talk about how the stereotypes influence ourselves and how
Oh, sorry. I mean to make you echo.
all right, is that good?
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. I wanted to talk about like how our, our identity and being authentic with all that too, with the stereotypes. It's pretty interesting. I've been thinking about this for a while. So first I want to say hi to everybody that's in here. Let's see who we got. Propaganda.
Propaganda. The Mighty Quinn. I heard a song about him once.
Oh, Popeye put something up that he wants us to check out couple links.
Excellent.
Oh, and Cirrus is here.
Cirrus.
Oh, Cirrus.
Sorry, Kate.
Yeah, see, Kate, you're on time.
Kate, you're right on time, darling. Got it. Popeye, Dingo.
Yes.
Nice to see all you guys.
Did I? Okay, wait. Where is
What?
Dingo?
I see Dingo's comment. Hi, fam.
Where is it? At the bottom?
Right. Yeah, it's towards the end because, like Kate just said, Lucky.
Kate likes Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts.
We got Popeye. Where? I didn't see Dingo's thing. This is so different to look at than through this than the normal.
Can I borrow your lighter?
Wait. Oh, there's Dingo. There we go. And there's a Kate.
Someone gave me a wrench. What the fuck?
I give out the wrenches around here.
we learned that from Yelbro. You arm everybody equally, and
Well,
and
yeah.
a little common sense.
Well, I mean, like
And I think everybody should be friends with everybody else and
Well, I mean, no, I do it to the people that we know and everything, and that they want to drop links and stuff like that.
yeah. No, that's what I mean. It's really key if you're trying to interact and share stuff, which is what the show's all about. So that's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Well, because it's about a community. It's not just like like our show. It's about us having a community, and yeah, trolls don't stand a chance. Yes, I mean, as long as we know the person, you know what I mean. Like, if I know they're not going to come in and just be freaking crazy, once somebody's in here, or people that we know already. So I hope everybody's doing good.
All right, sorry about all the mic noise. Yeah. Trying to get it in a happy spot. Okay. I'll put it right across here. What the? That's not gonna work.
Look, we have the trolls on the mics.
Mic troll.
I made a couple more of the fuzzy mics covers.
I think right there is good. It's gonna have to be. So how's everybody doing? Now that we're up close and personal.
Just talking about the trolls. How
Just talking about the trolls,
They don't
baby.
stand a chance.
All right, we're doing a timeshare with the cigarette lighter.
Oh my gosh.
Why is it a cigarette lighter? We don't smoke cigarettes.
I don't call it a cigarette lighter. We can call it whatever we want.
Did you guys see the picture of Obama and fucking Sniffy Joe like combined, like morphed together. It was really deceiving because I could have sworn I saw Kamala on there. Like it was like I thought it was like Joe Mala, but it was really Joe Obama. Weird.
Okay. So I took a couple notes for myself just to make sure I covered everything that I wanted to make sure that, you know, there were things that I felt like were important. So if you see me looking down, that's why. So
I keep forgetting it. You're like behind you. You gotta do it on your phone at the same time, otherwise, so you can stay current.
what? Oh, does it?
Kate's yelling at me because she's an admin now. She's like, "Jesus, mute yourself, Steve."
I saw that.
Oh, you didn't even comment. Okay. All right. I see.
I was
how
waiting for
your
you to,
wheels are
like,
rolling.
you know, chill out a little bit over here. Guys.
I'm doing my damnedest to chill out right now.
Yeah, you good now?
Leo, we all right? We good? Okay. Yeah. He assures me we are.
Okay. So, the prejudices are rooted in they're cognitive, right? Like we don't necessarily have to think about these. They just are automatic. And the cognitive things, then they become stereotypes. I mean, the prejudice becomes stereotypes, and then the stereotypes can become discrimination. Is the basic way that they lay it out. I mean, and I'm not a psychologist. I just like to think about the way that, you know, examine the ways that we think about things and the way we do things so that we can look at ourselves internally and how we can be authentic and honest and, you know, all that, you know.
So what you're saying is you like to think about what we think about.
I like to examine how we think and think critically about ourselves, just like we do others, so that we can be authentic and we're not lying to ourselves. I'm pretty sure this weed is working. Huh?
And I'm pretty sure this weed is working because that was like one of those moments where you're like, yeah, I like to thinking about being introspective and thinking about those things. You know, it's just I was stuck in a little stony loop for a second there. It's all right now. I'm fine.
We have VS Adams.
VS Adams. Let's go, Adams. Let's go. Okay.
Uh-oh, man. We gave the stereotype of the boomer suburban a little authority. And we got Uncle Warren in here.
Uncle Warren, too.
And Bella.
Them guys ain't got no wrenches. What's up?
I can't see that on here to do that. I can't do it through StreamYard.
Can't do it. Can't see it. Can't do it.
I can do it on my phone. I can do that. I can do it after.
All right.
So when you think about a prejudice, it can be usually something that starts out like as an immediate negative. It doesn't mean that it is, but it's what that means is that basically the definition of being a prejudice is it's towards a group. It's based on little to no evidence, but then that goes into being, that formulates stereotypes. And from there, that can conform into discrimination. So I think about how people describe others and how they use stereotypes, and they can be positive and they can be negative. It just depends on how you use them. And I like to, when I have one, because it's an immediate thing, right? You have that immediate response of how you react to somebody. Like within seconds, your brain has processed And it comes from all the information that you've gathered your whole life, the experiences that you have had. So, I might not have the same prejudices towards somebody else or think the same stereotypes. And it depends on how you've programmed your brain also to think about those. Because if you're conscious and you're aware, you can change the way you think about those. And I also feel like it's a society as a whole that determines the stereotypes that we use and the ways that we discriminate.
I'm feeling what you're saying.
You getting it?
Yeah, I'm getting it.
And I think ego has a big role in this too. Because we might not even realize how much our ego has a play in our everyday thought process and what we're doing. So much of it is, it's either been programmed or it is natural, and it comes from it can come from back into the hunter-gathering time. Like, you had your tribe and you don't think about past your tribe. You're not worried about what everybody has for food or what everybody has for whatever. And then you create your own little tribe, and then from there you can create a stereotype. And that stereotype can be completely true. Like, you can say that a group of, I don't even know who falls into a stereotype that is true. Can you guys think of anything like right off the top of your head?
I would say academics and Asians. The majority of Asians and Muslim speaking people are higher average than white people as far as like academically. It's like a thing. Like, I read this a couple of years ago where they were definitely like rated higher, and that's about the only stereotype I can think of off the top of my head. But that's actually a thing. You know what I mean? Because people say stuff like that. Well, you're Asian, so you're good at math or whatever. You know what I mean? That's an old trope, but I mean that's essentially the gist of it, and it happens to be true.
Well, we can examine why.
Oh yeah.
Because their society is different than ours.
Right. Their societal influence, how they're brought up, and what are held as, what the things that are held in esteem and attain and used to attain, and bars set for excellence. You know what I mean? It's just like that ever increasing, Olympiad friggin' attitude when it comes to college and higher learning. You know what I mean? People are just like, certain groups of people are, made to do that in their families, in their lives, in their society. Other people are not.
Yeah, well,
some of the other people that never get an education are probably smarter than the other people. You know what I mean? But it's just all where you put your energy and how they're driven. They just
because they can fall into the same stereotypes. Yeah. In the same way that we do, and then we turn those into our identities.
Yeah.
And we can fall into a trap where they could actually be the same intelligence level as other people, but because that is a label that people use, it can make them actually fall into that and do better and be better at math because it's something that you're hearing over and over. So of course you're going to excel at it.
That manifesting reality thing, like, you if you put the effort into it, it will happen, like everything. And I'm pretty sure that's the way every single thing on this planet works. So if you're positive enough about whatever it is, and you do the most effective positive steps towards that goal, you'll manifest whatever the fuck it is if you want it bad enough. It may take, decades, but it happens.
Uh-oh. Look at Popeye. He said he can't use his stereo where he lives.
I can't use my stereo. I bet not. It's like, oh, you can feel it on the sidewalk outside. Yeah.
And Rob came to join us.
Rob.
And we have Groot I am Groot.
Rob Juno, I love that guy.
Yes.
I love all you people, all you weirdos that come out and hang out and talk about stuff with us because it's just the best thing. I really, really like it. I hope we get to meet all of you individually and collectively
Yes.
on multiple planes of existence.
Wow, I just got the alert that I'm live.
All right on time.
Really? Half an hour late?
That's so crazy.
They're really, really throttling. We covered that in a different episode. I think it was 3. How YouTube like found me on Twitter and completely told me that they were fucking with me.
That's a crazy episode. Like that was we were just like shell shocked by it at first. Like what the hell is going on? How does like a megalithic freaking company of people like seek out one user? And it's like obviously it's because we go to all these subversive fucking activist friggin' driven indie media and those sorts of pages, and we share that kind of information, and we keep saying free Assange, free Assange, free Assange. And that's enough. That'll get YouTube to find
Okay,
your
can we
singular tweet.
let's not give them more keywords like right in the beginning.
I'm
Like,
cancel those keywords.
so I want to how do we counteract these stereotypes? How do we challenge ourselves to not fall back on them and use them? Because it's natural to use them, and that learning that really kind of hit me it's like the same thing when you hear somebody say like a racist joke, and if you don't stand up and say like, hey, that's not okay, then you are contributing to that. And I challenge everybody if they do something in that manner. And I notice a lot of people don't stand up and do that. And then I think of, in a group setting, people will be more likely to conform to what the majority is saying. It's really easy to just conform to what the majority is saying, even if you don't completely agree with that. And then, how does that affect our justice system and the discrimination factor that happens? It's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole. Wrench wars are fun.
What is happening in Wisconsin? In Waukesha? Some angry people up there? What's happening? I did not read it. I did not hear it. I was doing other stuff.
That's another thing I was thinking about when it came to this too, is how mainstream media uses all these stereotypes and labels too, like the protests that are there. When they are calling them like outright riots and they're not acknowledging the reason people are doing it, they're just adding to that. They're giving people that immediate tribalism. What side are you on with this? What team are you? And it just adds to it even more. Just the way that we describe things and the words that we use. It's crazy how much influence that can have. And then because so much of it is programmed and integrated into our brains from the time we are children, it's like, how do we break that cycle? How do we acknowledge that enough so that we can make a change and we can decide that we're not going to do that?
How do we do that? How do you not use the stereotype when, your preconceptions are your guide and it's like how your brain is wired to process information? If it didn't have those kind of shortcut things, your sensory perception would be overload. You just like wouldn't be able to deal with everything that you have to deal with in life. I don't understand like how to. I mean, I understand like certainly examining the ones that you have and calling them what they are. You know what I mean? And trying to fine tune that and be at least aware and critical of your own stereotyping and how you do it and how it's a thing, but it's also a shortcut that doesn't need to be like cut even shorter. And I think that's what it does when you just put everything in its own little label box. It's really, it has a description that's 12 words long, but it fits in the box with the, 2 syllables. That's it, or 3 syllables.
Well, and then Popeye just put like up there, like he was a bike messenger and he hated protest. So that's something that's really, being on topic. So what influence does that have when you see a protest? Do you, because we're going to think about this differently. You have, like you have a negative reaction, that you did hate them. Now, has that changed? Has it evolved since then? I know that when I was young, it was always like protesters were looked down upon as like, oh, these just free-loving hippies that, just want to smoke weed, and then all the things that came with that. All the prejudices that came like, oh, you smoke weed, so that means what? You're not as educated, or you're not smart, or, just whatever else came with that. So it's like, they put it on you like double. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so this, you do this, and that means this too. And it keeps bringing that, that perpetual, like it's like just branded onto you. And they just keep reaffirming it and reaffirming it. And, I mean, protests are like, that is so important. It's so important that we stand up for ourselves. And the label of it being put as this, negative thing, it just represses us. So that, that's a one way to kind of think about that.
Yes, I did see that dude drove through a fucking marching band and all fucking people like a parade. He fucking drove his car through it. Fucking.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So Rob put up there that one thing comes to mind, Lucky, is I find it helps to break stereotypes when I can get people alone. Many like to act differently when there's an audience. Yeah, I agree.
That's very, very true. Propaganda.
And it's really hard
Barbara
sometimes because people, like, then that means they're not being authentic and they're not being honest with themselves. Mm-hmm. And how can we challenge them to be authentic?
Right. I don't think enough people are challenged to be authentic. More people are apt to put on their mask, their made up thing, and pretend in their own mind that they are that persona that they've invented for themselves, rather than be authentic and face all their faults and fears and thoughts and emotions. And it's easier for but you're not whole if you can't do it. You know what I mean? You have to got to be honest with yourself, and you have to be introspective. Like I was saying, challenge those stereotypes. I agree with what Rob said. Like, most people in my life have been like that. Only my best friends that I still have are authentic. That's why they're still my best friends. That's why, you know what I mean? That's why those are the people that don't go away, because you know that person. You know what I mean? They can't bullshit. You can't bullshit a bullshitter,
That's because you've built that relationship where they've become authentic and trustworthy with you. Mm-hmm. And I try to make sure that, I'm not just trustworthy and authentic with like people I know. I'm like that with everybody.
Right.
So SF Thomas said, scuzzy anarchists are an easy find tribe at most protests. Well, it's easy for us to stereotype people and find them that way, but that doesn't mean the whole group of them is that.
Right.
Unless you go and, you talk to each one and you're like, hey, are you?
It's very possible for people that get cast as a certain group, right? And then you go talk to them, and 10 people out of 12 give you the same ideology and give you the same rap about stuff and why they're doing what they're doing, and it all sounds homogenized. It's all the same. You know what I mean? The other two people might be the ones that are like together and aware of the thing that they bought. You know what I mean? Because generally it's not quite in line with reality. You know what I mean? There's some kind of skew to it, and that's why they're, people fucking would single them out. It's because the anarchist. You know what I mean? Like, you might have talked to this many people and been like, these guys are fucked, man. What the fuck?
Well, but also, how many people are there that, because it's herd mentality, right? It's very tribal. So how many of those people are actually not that way, but they're with a group of people that are,
Right.
because they're influenced
that's
to be
the
that
other
way,
layer,
or if
too.
it's their family or it's their friends, and it's like, okay, I'll go with you. You know what I mean, to do this
These guys
protest.
are my boys. I'll fucking go with
I'm
them.
gonna go
I'll
and
roll with
support
them.
you.
Yeah.
But do they all feel that way?
Right.
It's really hard. See, that's how like stereotypes can go.
They go sideways quick if they're not accurate.
Well, they can go either way.
They can, but I mean, they'll more often than not, I think you'll realize that they're not really well placed. You know what I mean? Like most of the big ones that the mainstream media uses, those lines that they draw, the left and the right and the fucking, you know what I mean? No.
Yeah, all the ways they divide us.
Yeah, all the ways to divide us. It's just all garbage. And people are fucking people, And some people like certain things and are influenced by the other people that they like, and will do things that they're not really behind 100% because,
And
because they're not, because they're people and everybody's individual,
Well, and you also have to think, like, how many people follow, like, so when you do meet a group of people and they are like that stereotype that you felt is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it also feeds into you, like, it reaffirms it.
Yeah, you've justified it now in your mind, so now you can be a fucking dick to that person because they are that, and you can prove it. You know what I mean? That's the problem with it. That's why I say the only way to deal with, another human being is to meet them on friggin' the same ground without letting those preconceived notions that you have and judgments that you've already cast in your mind, and the shadow of your fucking self has already decided that this is the way the ego would handle it. If you get away from that and just approach everybody on an evolutionary basis, like your opinion is okay to change as you progress, as you go, and just be authentic and try to be as authentic as you can with everyone you meet.
So Popeye's comment is, protesting when people are going home is really rude. Why not do it in the morning? Keeping people from getting home is one way to piss people off. That's kind of the point, though, a lot of times, right? You got it. You want to, if you're not heard on a lower level, then you got to piss people off. No matter how inconvenient it is.
Sometimes that's true.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's about what they're standing for.
It's about the collective.
So we might not agree with what they're doing, but
I want to be in the hive, not sleeping outside. That's the thinking. Like, you got to go along to get along, and that's how most of the fucking manipulation takes place. I think on the fucking planet. You get enough people to think roughly around the same lines.
yeah, but no, I'm addressing like what Papa is saying. No, like you want to get home, and why are they gonna do it then?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the point,
right?
Is to disrupt things so
Right.
that
No,
your voice is
I missed
heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed that part, but definitely that's true 100%. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. That's
Okay, so Cirrus said, "What do you do when you're outnumbered by idiots?"
you must. I kind of am cynical enough to like go into most situations believing that's probably the fucking odds. If you go in like that and just
But
be
that's a
optimistic about
prejudice.
it,
You're being a prejudice.
I know, but my experience tells me that's probably the situation. But that doesn't mean I'm true. It's happened every time. Doesn't mean I'm always right. You know, I ain't often been right, but I've never been wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying, my own fucking old guy bullshit, you know what I mean, will dictate, like, if I see certain signs of things, my brain goes, oh, well, that one's that, and that one's that, and that one's that, and that one's that.
And then you know what happens?
And and I'm
I
wrong,
call
like,
him out like,
wrong, like
every time.
7 out of 10 times I'm wrong.
And he gets really mad, and he's
'Cause
like,
it's
no.
frustrating
And he resists it, and I'm like, but why is that?
It's frustrating when you have someone tell you when you're wrong. You know when you're goddamn wrong. You need to tell me.
That goes back to your ego, though.
Yes, I know.
It goes back to your ego, and then when someone's challenging you to expand on that or think a different way, you know, like, then you have to acknowledge it, and it's like, shit, I don't want to deal with that. Like,
it's that idea that you know, you can have 2 opposing viewpoints held in your mind and understand both of them equally, you know, and be okay with that. It takes practice, I guess, you know, but I'm old and I'm just learning.
When you're outnumbered by idiots, what you have to do is the fact that like one person can influence a lot of people.
Are you sure this shouldn't be another podcast? How to influence a room full of idiots.
Well, we can cover that differently by itself, but you have to understand though that one person can cause a ripple effect through people. So if we all decide that we are going to challenge people, no matter what, no matter if they're friends, their family, no matter who, if we decide to challenge them on things where they're, you know, they are being an idiot, but we do it in a way where we're not attacking them. Like there's a difference between sometimes, like Steve, for example, he'll go on social media, and I've called him out for this, like, online before. I do it in person. Like, I won't say anything about anybody that I won't say, like, to their face ever. Like, that's just, if I say it, I will say it to their face. You know, I'm kind, but I'm very honest, and I think we need more of that.
Brutally honest.
So you have to understand that, you know, you might feel like you're surrounded by idiots, but there might be a couple people in there that you can reach by saying what you're saying, because you got to remember that people, like, kind of get in that group mentality, that tribalism too. So if one person stands up in a crowd and says, no, that's not happening. So you think about, like, maybe how our jury system works. Because the psychology of that, because what's behind that is that people want that tribalism. They don't want to stand up and be the odd one out and have to, like, you know, defend themselves against everybody. They fall into that same trap. I know if I was on a jury, I wouldn't be able to, like, just go with it. Like, oh, no, I couldn't do it. It's just not who I am. And then another thing with this is that, so besides the fact that it reinforces it, which can be a positive or a negative thing, right? Because, you know, stereotypes are not necessarily a negative thing. You know, like, you could assume that a whole group of people they're kind and they're giving people because you've interacted with these people in the past in this type of, you know, group. But that might not be true. It could be true. But either way, if it's true and you believe that, you're going to be reinforced by that, and you're going to approach it that way. Yeah, and sometimes they feel they need protection from the stereotype role. Yeah, and I find that there's a lot of assumption with these types of things, and I try to challenge that. Like, instead of, you know, okay, well, why do I think that? Why does that come to mind for me? And, you know, so I challenge myself, and I'm because, you know, I want to be better, and then I want to pass that on to hopefully help others, you know, challenge themselves too. Like, when we're watching a movie sometimes, Steve will say, oh, that person, you know, or they're probably rich as blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why do you assume that? And he's like, what happened the other night? You can tell him. We were watching that show. It was actually a lady that built an eco village community, and
Yeah.
it was
It was
big
like, it
and
was
sprawling, inspirational, and
like
we're
super
watching it, and I'm
nice,
like, oh man,
upstate New York. And, it was just like right around New Paltz, New York. In my experience, there's lots of fucking rich people that live near there. And lots of rich kids that go to school there. And it's beautiful. It's in the mountains. It's gorgeous right there. And I'm like, nah, that was, somebody had money to start this. And they're like, the lady's like, we started it. We didn't have no money. And they just
yeah.
fucking
Steve was like,
raised
oh,
it.
I'm like, well, why
it
do
was
you think
incredible.
she's rich? And he's like, because look at her
because
clothes. She's
she looked
hippie.
rich.
She's uppity. And I'm like, well, what makes her look rich?
I
Like,
don't know. My preconceived notion, my stereotype of her was the culprit. I realize that now, but that was my life experience taught me people who talk like that and look like that and have those clothes and have these means to do these grand things like that come from money. And that is not to say that right next door to that place there isn't that same thing that I'm describing, you know what I mean? But that woman was not that at all. She was just an old head that was cool as fuck and did this amazing shit.
she was a nuclear activist.
Yeah.
She went from being a nuclear activist. They went across the entire country. Like,
They walked across the country.
yeah, it's
walked across the
amazing.
country,
So
yeah.
we're listening to this woman, and like, all we see is just the outside of the homes. It's just the community, and what he thought was based on how she was dressed. Now, I say, well, I don't know what makes that, like, what makes her clothes rich? Like, what makes you think that? Because, like, who knows where they came from? The producer that came in to film, they might have given her clothes, or her friend, or she might have gone to Goodwill, or, like, we can't assume to know that. There's so much assumption that happens
Yeah,
when we do that.
does assume too much.
Yes.
All right, tell me though. Blue one?
Oh my God.
I don't think it can stay. Oh, come on. Blue one? It's pretty fashionable. Yeah. Or the lovely green.
Yeah, the hippie movement. I believe that. I believe that they did that. That it was manufactured, and that they made it like, oh yeah, they're just out there doing all these things, and they're focusing on the things that like others would reject, not the things that would unite us. Like the movement then. They're like, oh, they're doing all these things that as a society, most people thought, maybe were not acceptable at the time. So they focus the energy on that, and then they build it to be such a negative thing that, you start to stereotype these hippies or whatever as like something that's like not a positive thing. I am like all about that. Like why wouldn't you want to be identified as that?
Yeah.
They are
It's a good thing.
the hippie label. I mean, like that. It's beautiful. They want peace and love and happiness. If that's the label that they have, then hell yeah,
Sign me up.
Call me that, because I identify that way.
Rob Juno says green. Green. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, the green hat. Oh
I'm
my
not sure if
gosh.
anybody
I'm like,
else
what are you
agrees.
talking
Steve
about?
Brand agrees. All right, green. Tried and true, buddy.
We have Miss
Shamrock
Jelly in
greens.
here.
Shamrock green glitter to win the races.
Yeah, I believe it did get destroyed. But the thing is that, so, like, we can take that and I don't know, like, take that stereotype and educate people and talk to people about what that actually does mean. What was that movement about? It was anti-war. They want peace for the people. They don't, like, how is that a bad thing? How is being anti-war bad? So, like, to say, like, if somebody says something negative, like, oh, yeah, the hippie movement or all these, blah 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 people, and all the things that they say to you. So, and then I would say to them, my reaction would be, well, are you pro-war? Is that, you know what I mean? Is that the side that you stand on? Because that's, that was the biggest part of that movement. And it's just a way to not be aggressive, but to simply challenge their thought process. And if you challenge somebody's thought process, sometimes they're very resistant to that. But
always
we can, but you plant a seed.
Yeah.
And that can cause a ripple, it can, that can
roots,
grow.
Roots, can break through cement and all sorts of fucking crazy shit, man. They're really strong. And like, you plant that seed, that little son of a bitch.
And what if that person isn't being authentic with themselves, and maybe they really do feel that way, but they needed somebody else to say it first because they didn't feel like strong enough that they could say that. They could agree with that, or they see it from that perspective then. Like, it's that same, the herd mentality, because like we think about things like as a society, we decide things, and it takes someone saying, no, that's not right, and then standing up for that to become something that people are aware of and that they care about. That makes sense?
I think it did. I'm trying to read the chat too.
Yeah, I'm going to read the chat. Yeah, authentic and therapeutic thinking is taboo in a society that purposely structured to be anti-therapeutic. Absolutely, Choosy. That is absolutely right. And
we can definitely blame Rockefeller too.
Just think about like the way that I grew up. Like, if you were crying, like, no, do you want something to cry about? You're to be seen and not heard. Like basically silence yourself. Don't have a voice. Don't have anything. Fall in line from the get-go. And like, you can't have your emotions. You can't cry. Like, which is a natural thing. Like how repressive is that? And it all falls back into that obey and fall in line. And this is the way things are. But how did that change?
How did what change?
All that, like that.
The repression of everyone?
I don't say those things.
Yeah.
I don't use those terms. I didn't use them on my daughter growing up. I decided to not go that route. So what happened that changed that cycle? I decided it wasn't okay.
That it wasn't okay.
But also society before me also decided that.
Well, not completely, but certainly on certain levels.
Somebody did.
Didn't have to work in the mills anymore, and after the 20s, it's like society.
Yeah, but somebody started that.
Yeah.
Everything that we do as we evolve, it didn't just come out of thin air. It came from somewhere. It came from people thinking outside of that, outside of like, I think that's why some people are so stuck in like, years ago. They're stuck so far back in time because they cannot, they're not challenged. They can't see it. They can't evolve because in their tribe or their circle, that's still the norm, and the group of them, if nobody has stood up for that and changed that.
That is the thing, is that one person makes the difference and makes the thing change. It only takes one person to start a carnation revolution. It only takes one person to make a big thing take place. If everybody gets on board, then it only took that person to get everybody to get it together. And I don't know how one guy can do that, or one gal can do that, or one, woodchuck can do that. But something could happen like that. You never know. I don't know if it only takes one woodchuck. I mean, it might be like a woodchuck to human ratio thing, like fraction, that I'm not aware of. I'm not completely sure. But, let's see. I like that attitude, Choosy. He's like, I'm 20 grand in debt, but I like to taunt fate. Fuck yeah, dude. That's certainly
Money is
an
basically,
option.
it's like a stereotype. We all believe in it and, reaffirm it, then it is what it is.
Yep.
We could decide that, like, pennies were the new $100 bill.
Yeah,
and they would be.
We're the only ones giving it a value.
Mm-hmm.
I say we use those little dried banana chips. They're like little bits of fruit candy. You just trade them back and forth. One of them could be like worth a beer or two. I guess two for a beer seems fair. They're banana chips, man. We can grow bananas in places that don't have bananas growing. I think it'll be an excellent, alternative currency.
Some more people came in, and
Money.
let's see. We got Wolf Dude in here, and we have, I think I said hi, Jilly.
Oh, brother.
Where did I go? I don't know where I'm at here. Oh, we have Mystery in here.
Mystery.
I don't know how far behind I'm in the chat, guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm trying to catch up. Well, I want to see what everybody has to say. That's what this is about.
People are saying things. I've just decided that I need like another thing to hold the tablet closer to my fucking head because I can't see it for shit.
It's because you didn't get glasses like you were
I got
supposed
good glasses, but they're for far away, and this is too close to be far away. If I take off my glasses, I can see better. Look over the top of them. I feel old. I do notice I'm very fidgety without a guitar in my hand. I'm like, my foot tapping.
Here we go. SF Thomas got it. Birds of a feather flock together.
Yep.
Don't give him ideas. He'll start like picking up the guitar.
I just played that one the other night. Yesterday. Jesus, sometimes when you just coast along. But like it or not, something always seems to go wrong.
I like Steve's.
Speaking of wrong, Mr. Wilson. What's up, buddy?
Mr. Wilson. We love Mr. Wilson.
He's a funny bastard, that guy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He drives a mean virtual truck. It's big. It's a giant truck. It's pretty cool.
All right, let me see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess the street can be the time, not the time to talk about some things, but even when we're out just like at the store and stuff, I end up talking about some pretty heavy stuff with people or even people on the phone that I don't know. It just naturally happens. I just start to go, I don't know how it happens. Maybe Steve can explain it.
What was
I just
question?
go deep into conversation with people and I talk about things like not like
happened?
just your sports team or your weather. I go pretty heavy and deep with people, even strangers.
Yeah. No, that's a real thing. She's just kind of talks to whoever she's talking to. It doesn't really matter. On just like the person be like, just tell her stuff like, like the weirdest, deepest, darkest things, and just like, break down and cry in her arms and be like, I needed to tell somebody that and whatever. Like I've seen it. I've witnessed it a couple of times where I was just like, that's crazy. And I think I add to that with you because there's a long history of my attracting the weirdest people, like when I'm out in the world playing and stuff, like, the strangest people in the room will inevitably come to me and her. So there's like two of us. We're like magnets for wayward souls or something. I don't know what it is, but there's a thing. There's like some kind of magnetic draw.
Yeah, I've always had that. Like people will come and tell me like their deepest, darkest secrets, even if they're just someone that I just met. I've had some people on the phone that I was talking to, like like customer service calls. Like I always end up like making the person on the other end of customer service like laugh. It's like it becomes my goal to bring some of that happiness to them because
Rob
they get
just said
so
same.
much negativity.
Yep. You could tell that Rob is the same. I could tell immediately. We knew that. That it's just a weird thing that you know when you're talking to friends and talking to people. Like you guys, we haven't met you guys like in real life, but over this interweb thing, you still have those same kind, like the cosmic shit still occurs. Like it's, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of energy-based shit that is virtual and real at the same time, existing on a couple different planes of reality, I guess. I don't know how that. I don't know. SF Thomas probably knows the maths on that. I'm not aware. So how's Mr. Wilson? I mean, we never get Mr. Wilson.
I know. How are you?
He's always streaming while we're streaming.
I know.
I think it's a conspiracy.
Yes. Mr. Wilson from Pakistan. Beautiful, beautiful human. You guys should get over there and watch his videos.
He's a funny bastard. He will say some inappropriate shit. Let me just warn you right now.
Yeah.
But he is funny.
And Propaganda sent us over there to him. And I know a few of you go over there. Choosy's over there and Mystery's over there. Who else is over there? Karen M. Yes, she's over there.
Bunches of people.
Uh-oh, what happened, Bella?
Yeah, what did happen? It's Padma's birthday. Aw, and you missed it.
Oh.
You better like do something, son.
Oh.
Better get over there and do something to make it better.
Well,
or I don't know what the situation is, but I would definitely endeavor to make her not mad at you for missing her birthday. I've done it before.
I mean, are you in contact with her?
He was sleeping. He streamed for like 47 hours in a row, and then
dude, I know you get him going on. I was like, I got another alert. I'm like, Mr. Wilson's live. I'm like, whoa, he's going live again.
I'll get a cake, he says.
There you
bring
go.
Flowers too, bro.
Think of something like super like sweet, like something that's like her favorite. Not just like a cake and flowers. Think of something that's like more like sentimental or something that is gonna make her go, oh, like that extra little bit.
Give her
of
a
it.
cake and flowers and sing to her.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cute.
That would be beautiful. And
think of it a cool way to do it.
And videotape it so we can ridicule you forever.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, you said we have Oz in here too. I didn't say Oz.
Oz LaFave. I love that guy.
I do too. I love all
There's
you
some
guys.
good, upstanding folks all up in this chat room right now. And I don't know if anybody's told you today, but we love you. And that is the truth of the situation. And that cosmic shit works, I'm telling you.
Normal is cringe. You're so
Normal
right.
is fucking
Oh my gosh, Mr. Wilson was watching this video last night.
Oh,
and
God.
it was like awful, but then
hella
like
cringe.
I was
That
like,
was-
what is he watching? Okay, we'll let other people.
Oh my God, that's almost worse than its own podcast.
But I
That
was like-
so nasty.
I was like, God damn it. I'm like, just play the thing. Everyone's like, stop playing it. I'm like, I'm invested. I just want to see what the ending of this is. I did not go back and finish it, but at the moment, I'm like, I just want to know how like from a psychological point of view, I'm like, oh my God, how do they think this way?
It was so nasty. Noli D was there. She knows.
Yeah, Noli was there. She knows Mr. Wilson.
Gnarly. It was just beyond. It was extra. It was way extra than normal. Fucking crazy Mr. Wilson hijinks. You know, it was just like, and he was just like, no, I'm playing the video. I want to know there's people out in the world doing these things.
Yeah.
You understand there are people doing this right now?
Like, we'll just put it at like things with animals, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even ever imagined it like that. Like I was like, whoa, I mean, I've heard of this stuff, and like, everybody knows that things, I was like, oh shit. This is like, I wouldn't expect that. People admitting it too.
Yeah, they were open about it in this interview, in this documentary. They were very open about, doing things with animals with no shame whatsoever. I mean, like really graphic descriptions of things. It was fucking horrible. Never do that again, Mr. Wilson.
And you guys, Noli really helped us out so that we can actually stream this way now.
Oh my God.
So I just want to give her some love. How do I do this on here? This camera is so hard. Like,
you got it.
There we go. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's backwards. So it's like,
heart.
it's hard to see like where I'm at on this
It was more like
thing.
a pretzel, but that's cool. I think she knows.
It's like a train wreck. Yes. It's like
It was like a train wreck. Like you couldn't look away. You couldn't turn off the sound. I was like, people are like, I got it muted. I'm not even listening. It was bad.
Yes, expanding our minds. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. We're just not going as deep in that, We are like in a StreamYard. It's so great. Like, we can actually have both of us on here, and the computer's not like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, that's the best part. The best part is that. Just that one thing. And, the ease of being able to share, stuff that you're looking at or whatever. That's fucking cool. Hella cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, Noli, it's amazing. Like, I appreciate it so much. I never expect anything from anybody, and I'm the one who tries to always make sure that I'm helping others. And so, like, when it comes around, because I don't expect it, like, it's just, it just makes it all the more special.
Yeah, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Very, very cool. All right. Let's see. How long have we been going? A while now?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even see the time up here.
All right.
Like,
there's a clock somewhere on there.
I don't see it.
At the top.
Oh, yeah, it's 9:38. And Noli, I want to see some of your artwork. You guys should check out Noli's thing too. Did I make her? I gotta make. I gotta do the thing. Sorry, guys.
What the hell are you doing?
Giving wrenches. Did I get everybody?
I don't know.
Everybody's got to type so I know if you got a wrench.
Everybody say something.
Even if you just want to say something.
Yeah. Barbara B needs one. I don't see one on her. Noli got one now. Everybody should have one because that's the way we get to share. And sharing is caring, people. That's what the Care Bear told me.
Well, yeah, I want everybody to be able to put links in and be able to, share things and all of that.
Got to be saying something. Wanna be saying something.
All right, did I get everybody?
Rob's saying something. Noli D, I'm a shitty mod. It's all right. We won't put any responsibility on you.
No, but now you can put the link to your channel.
But now you could link your channel and then people can go subscribe to you.
I think I did Barbara too.
Yeah, you should do Barbara.
I think I did. And Mr. Wilson should be on there.
Mr. Wilson should be too, absolutely.
Yeah, you guys should all drop your channels in there. And that way we can see what everybody else does. I think it's so cool. Like, I've learned like so much about what other people do and on their channels. And even if it's just cute little videos, I love it. I love it.
It's good shit. For sure.
So where was it? There was something else.
Oh, I can't share that like that. What can I? No.
Oh, there was something else that I really, really wanted to cover about this too. Like, so your fears or so if you're fearful of somebody like walking down the street, right? Like you see this person that were, you know what I mean? Like in a hood, dark, you don't know, like, you know, who they are, their background or anything like that. They can be really scary, right? If you don't know those things. But where does that fear come from? Is it come from, your own self experiences? Is it stuff that you've, seen on the movies over and over again? Like, I think the reason why people have such not such an issue with police brutality also is because you see it on the TV nonstop. It is ingrained into our brain. That propaganda of that happening is ingrained into our brain. I feel like stereotypes can also reinforce us. Like, so whatever stereotypes I, think of myself, or that, like I believe them to at least, to be true in some way. Like somebody who has locks, right? A lot of people think that because you have locks, you don't wash your hair. And I say, do you wash your ass? Or white girls shouldn't have locks or whatever. And then I say, well, actually, do you really think that there was combs back in the day? Like everybody took care of their hair and it was about your ego, or was it about, they keep you warm and, your hair just back to like the evolution of hunters and gatherers. Like, do you think that they really cared about what their hair looked like? And like my lineage, I go back to, Scandinavian and all that. And what they actually used to call locks, they used to call them fairy locks. And they also like, the reason I don't call them dreads is because of the negative actual like history of calling them dreadlocks instead of just locks. And I was told this by an art therapist that I knew. She had long, and I said, long locks. And I said, oh my gosh, I love your dreadlocks. And she goes, actually, I prefer them to be to use the term locks. And I was like, okay. And, and I respected that of her. And then, later on, I really looked into that and examined that because I wanted to know, like, why is that, not something that more people, correct with and say that. And, it goes back to black people having nappy hair. Like, that's how they were, it was said, like their hair was dreadful and it would lock up. And that goes back to, colonization days. So I call them locks and I wash them just like anybody else, but like locks aren't dirty. Like, it's just hair. It's just hair. I feel like just like if you braided it and left it like that, eventually it would lock up. So, like that's one of those like stereotypes and labels that I get put on myself. Like, if you have locks, like suddenly you're like this type of person, which I don't really understand because I've seen people from all walks of life with locks in their hair. I'm going to see what you guys are saying over here before I get... Yes, all of you guys should have wrenches. I'm going to have to go back and make sure I grab all these links after. You're okay. Yep. Exactly. Every single civilization has had locks in their hair. Fred Edward. I go back to cosmic dust. That's great. Yeah, exactly. Hairstyles do not belong to any particular culture. I mean, like, there's no way of knowing how people have done their hair, and like, that's your self-expression. Remember, like, years back, it was like when people had tattoos, they were this certain type of person, so it was always, then it became more mainstream because people were like, they went outside of that, or they wanted to join that stereotype. not label, because they wanted to be considered what that was. Like, you know, if it made you a badass or a biker, or it made, you know what I mean, whatever label people put on you for that. Oh my gosh, Steve, your big white head. Oh my gosh, guys, I think we need to wax it. What do you think? We need to, like,
Wax on, wax off. No giggling. People are giggling behind me.
You sheared your hair. See that, and the thing about locks too, I think is really great.
Rapunzel smoked ganja too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Reputa. Reputa the Bermuda.
The way I think about it too is it's like letting go of your ego. You know, I do have beads and things in my hair that, you know, and I do different things with it, but I don't worry about it. Whatever my hair looks like, that's what it looks like. It's all right. I woke up like this, and yep, I just flip it over or whatever, and you know, it's convenient. I tie my hair back on itself.
I find the same exact thing true.
When he had locks, maybe.
When I had locks, but now I don't, and it's even lower maintenance. So, winning.
Choosy, try to get some like good oils or something, and then I'm sure you could grow a nice beard. You got pit locks, Jilly? That's awesome.
Pit locks.
I don't have pit locks. I don't have a lot of hair, but
can't get them to take. Hey, baby, you get your pit locks to take. That could be some like weird like I don't know. That's some weird shit. Does everyone in the chat like ramen? Skylar wants to know.
Oh God, I used to eat that stuff. No, that's so cool. There's pictures of people from her tribe with locks.
Really
that's awesome. Yeah, we get like a lot of like weird assumptions too. Like when people like they think everybody with locks is like a deadhead, and that's not true. There's a lot of people that are definitely not heads that have like locks in their hair.
Many. Lots of them. Just saying.
Oh,
Rapunzel
no, you're so
smoked
sweet.
Reputa.
Let your freak like fry. Absolutely. I feel like we just like imagine if the world, like if I could give the world one thing, right? Like everyone's like, oh, I would do one world peace, or I would end world hunger, or these things, right? And those are all beautiful things, right? But what I would do is I would give people truth or honesty, like however, to be fearlessly authentic, whatever way you want to put that. That's what I would give the world. Because if everybody had to be actually speak the truth and like not lie all the time, you know, can you imagine? Companies wouldn't be able to be like manipulating everybody. The government wouldn't be able to. Politicians couldn't lie to you. You know, like it wouldn't be something that was, you know, acceptable. And the people get away with it and lie like they do and manipulate us because we allow them.
Because we let them. What are you going to do? Not allow them?
Oh my gosh, Miss Tree, that's so true. Curly hair should not be washed too often. My daughter has super curly hair. Fred Edward said, Ramen's a nice guy.
I heard he was a farmer.
Oh my God. They're in a museum?
Ramen farmer.
Oh my gosh, Nula, you got to show us that. That's so cool.
What?
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. They just untangled themselves. Well, I don't know. I've seen like so many different people with locks, like dudes with like thinning, you know, bald spot on the top, but big old burly fucking locks coming off the back and shit. And like everybody's different. So I don't know. I don't know how you make extra thin hair become locks, but I know people with super straight hair that would look, kind of thin. I don't know if it was thin though. Like,
Well,
isn't
when you
hair
wash your hair,
thin?
you strip all the oils out of your hair. We're getting in a whole nother
Wow.
conversation. Oh my gosh.
Mr. Wilson bailed. He's on his live stream now. I don't blame him.
Did he go? He went to his own?
He was like, these friggin' weirdos with their friggin' dreadlocks. Yeah, he just started up his stream. He's got to make a cake. Sing a song.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into like the, our ego and the way of how we, women, like with the makeup and the body image and all that. Like, definitely need to do one on that. I've been looking at, writing some notes down as I think of things. I'm like, like things like spark me. And I'm sure you guys know I get, I get worked up sometimes and I have to express that in the chat. And I don't want people to think that I'm ever like trying to cancel somebody or anything like that. I will speak my truth, but I'm always open to seeing another side of it because I want to. I want somebody that is going to challenge what I say, and I want to be able to challenge them back. Like, I really want that in conversations, and I think that that's so important is we need to have people that have differing opinions.
I don't think you should
That's
challenge.
how we grow. That's how we grow.
I don't think you should challenge Fred Edward. He's 6'7", okay?
Hey, I'm 5'3".
I just had to say it because it's funny every time. Every time I read it, still 6'7". He's like, I'm still 6'7", bitch.
So yeah, I feel like we can fall into the trap of like it's like that self-fulfilling prophecy. We can have that self-fulfilling stereotype and label, in that box we put ourselves in. And how does that keep us from expanding and reaching goals and pushing our own selves farther? I was told when, oh my gosh,
It's getting
Steve.
weird.
Oh my God. So I was told when I was 16 by my stepdad that I wasn't the type for college. Like, I got sat down to have a conversation, and that's what I was told. And so I was like, all right, whatever, fuck it. I was already like, blowing off school and all kinds of things, like, because I didn't feel like I had anybody to care. And then, he put that label on me. And then for years, I didn't challenge that. I didn't say like, no, like, screw that. It was kind of like, whatever, I'll fall into that stereotype. I'll take that. It's the easier route. And even though at the time I felt like, yeah, I'm just, doing my thing. And, and it's like, I fell for that trap. And now I have since gone back to school. I got my GED years ago and, did do some college. And I remember when I told my mom about it, I said, yeah, I'm going to college or, I completed these courses. I got, honors credits and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, proud of you. And my response wasn't just a simple thank you. It was, I'm proud of me. Because I was proud of myself. I didn't need her approval. I didn't need her to be proud of me. I didn't need that. That wasn't why I did it. I did it for me. And that's how I kind of took that back. I took back my power from somebody else telling me who I was.
Nolly D's like, girl, that's funny. I don't think the funniness because Fred's like, what was it? Who mentioned it? Who mentioned Fred's height? Uncle Warren mentioned Fred Edwards' height with Comrade Misty.
Dude, Fred is so tall.
And it was funny then, and it's funny now, and I don't think the funny's gonna wear off. I think it's permanent. Somebody scary tall? Fred is scary tall at 6'7". I mean that. I don't know though. My Uncle John, my mom's brother, was 6'8". he was an inch taller than Fred, and he didn't scare me. So I don't know. I guess it's not scary tall. Maybe 2 more inches, I'd be scared. Yeah. No, I understand. I went to Jack Witchy Sports Arena when I was like 9 years old and saw WWF, Jimmy Snuka and Andre the Giant. And I came up to like Andre the Giant's knee, and I was tall for my age. Like,
That's crazy.
I was a big 9-year-old. I looked like I was 12. It was like weird. He was gigantic. And then I met Ivan Putski the same night, the Polish Power, and he was like tiny. Like I was almost the same height as him. It was like he was only a few inches taller. Fucking weird. Wrestling is weird.
So, one way I was thinking about, like, how can we identify when we are doing these things? Like, next time you're in like a parking lot or you're in a group of people, look around and see like who would you ask to jump your vehicle if you needed a jump or you needed help with something? Who would be the person that you would go to? Would you if you needed a jump start, would you be more likely to go to a male because, males are the stereotypical ones that have, that knowledge?
I would walk through the crowd and ask, anybody who if I would go like this.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you are like in a parking lot and you see somebody, like who would you go to? Like, are you going to do it based on their vehicle? Is it, is their sex, their race? What is it that would draw you to that person?
I would use the power of the universal jumper cable symbol. That's what this is. It's a hand sign. Jumper cables. You got jumper cables. And you point at the hood of the car. Works every time.
So
you're welcome.
All the little bits of Steve knowledge. So for me, like I might look for the person that, has a vehicle that's not the fancy new one. Because I drive an old 91. So I'm going to be like, all right, who has like an older vehicle that might like, have jumper cables if I needed them, or, like I'm going to look for like the person that's probably, that's going to fit like what I know, like I have an old van. So somebody seeking me out over somebody that has a really fancy car, that would be reasonable in my brain. Mm-hmm. And like, think about like how when we see like an older person, like, oh, look, that's a little old lady or a little old man. Why do we trust them more? Just because they're old? Or why are they sweet because they're old?
Because it reminds you of your, the older people you've known that were kind to you when you were young.
Your grandma.
And your grandma and your grandpa.
Or whatever.
Whoever.
Yeah.
I used to have a meme and a metaunt that lived next door to where we lived in Coventry, Rhode Island, when I was about 5, probably from the time I was 2 till I think I was 5 or 6 when we moved from there. And they were just like brother and sister from Ontario, French Canadian, and they were just old as hell. Like, I mean, they were old when I was that age. They were ancient. At least they were to me at the time. You know what I mean? I'm sure they were in their 70s or 80s, probably 80s. And they were just the coolest people. Muttown used to bring me down to the Elks Lodge downtown there in Arctic, West Warwick, in Rhode Island. And he would, like you could bring children into the bar, like in the afternoon, and we'd be like, hey, I gotta go in here, and we'd walk into the bar and hang out, and I would sit on, play pinball or whatever, and just old men and smoking cigarettes, and it was fucking great.
People with the glass eye are generally mechanics.
That's a good observation.
I'm gonna do a
Are you sure that's just not a stereotype?
Yeah.
Big ups
Forget
to
about the
Mub-
modern
Mattel.
cars. You got that, Rob. Yes. Like, because you think about it, I think about it. I'm like, I can, not only is it better for the environment and everything else, you get to work on it. Like, and they're easier to work on. I have a doghouse in my van, so I can take that whole thing off. I can change my air filter while I'm sitting in the driver's seat in the spark plugs.
All right, my phone is gonna turn off any moment here, so
Okay.
I'm gonna say goodbye, people. Peace out.
He'll still be on the mic. He just won't be on camera.
Yeah, I just won't be on the camera. All right. Let's see. Leave. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, Noli has a 1949 Mercury coupe.
Woo-wee.
Rust and gray primer and color and loud as fuck. So you would
That was
you would come
awesome.
get, yes, I would find you to get a jump. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is all
It's all weird. Just make it full screen, and then you're all set.
no, it went back to that on
Oh,
when I was like
automatically.
it was off view because I had it adjusted for both of us.
Nice.
So yeah, Noli, I would go to you. Like I actually had somebody because my van is an old 91. It's a full size 15-foot like B250. She's got that engine. I just love that van. And so I was in a parking lot, one of the the side of the road freaking rest stop. Because I was traveling, I had gone up to Maine. I think that was when I went up to Maine. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was with Bobby. And so we're like in the parking lot, and it's, this girl comes over and she's like, hey, I don't, it's okay if you don't. I don't mean to, like, I'm not a spook or anything, but she's like, do you guys have like weed I could buy? And
You got any weed?
we definitely ended up doing some deals. I met this really amazing person. And, so like that stereotype of like, the person to go to in the rest area, it was right. You see a chick jump out barefoot and in tight eyes and with locks, you know what I mean? It's, you can safely assume that like at least probably where that person stands. Maybe not, but you can think about it that way too. And it happens so fast when you meet somebody or you see somebody too that you don't always realize that, like, in that split second, because it's not even something that you always cognitively think of at the time. So I just like to be honest about the things, like who I would look for or what I would do, and then I challenge, like, is that based upon my belief or is it based upon something else? Like, where do I get that? Where does that come from with me? Uncle Warren said, go down south, glass eye in every garage. Yeah, it's like you can tell like what kind of person somebody is, right, by like their hands. Like I have cuts on my hands, I have calluses, I have scars, I have blisters. My nails are not pretty. Like, I mean, they're fine. They're not like covered in fungus or anything. They're short. They're not like all
Not covered
glamorous.
in fungus or anything.
Well,
just say.
they're not like nail fungus gross or something. I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know.
my nails are not pretty. Not covered in fungus or anything. Oh, that sounded funny.
Mystery, what kind of van did you have? I love my van.
1949 coupe she had since she was 15, Noli said. A 3-speed on the column. Come on.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is so dope.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that a lot of like, there's a lot of stereotype around women not like, knowing enough about vehicles or like wrenching on their vehicle. And yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm going to do a special podcast about my friend Chuck. It's going to be 3 years this February on Valentine's Day that he passed away. But he was like my best friend and we worked on the van together and he taught me a bunch of stuff. And I have his old greasy like his flannel with his hood that he would wear, and like he would put Leo inside of it. Like Leo loved Chucky. So yeah, I'm gonna do a special stream on him and also my friend Sienna, and how they brought me closer to Steve. It's a really cool story, and the way that it all ties together and the links of it, and it's like one of those things where it's like it doesn't feel just accidental and coincidental. It's like there was the universe had something to say in that, or somebody had their influence in like that. I mean, unless it was just all manifested, but I don't know. We'll talk about that one though.
Ooh, 55 Ford pickup.
Oh my gosh. I am not really good at driving a stick shift.
I am wicked good at driving a stick shift. I love driving a stick shift.
I just never really had anybody that had them. It's like automatics, like they became so, like everybody had automatics.
I had a Nova, but that was 3-speed on the column with a straight 6, a 76. And I fucking love that car. I think it was 1989 till 91. Yeah, for like 3 years. Drove the piss out of that thing. It was so good. And then I sold it, and some other kid drove it for like, I don't know, another fucking 9 years or something. I saw that thing forever. It's crazy. It's a good car. Old cars rock. I think that's what I was trying to say. Also, Choosy,
Yes.
admitting that you have a ramen addiction is the first part of the battle.
How are you, Cop Watch? How are you doing?
Cop Watch.
Make sure that, a lot of you guys have shows, so make sure you put the links in there so we can check out your other shows and, support our community, because that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Is, it's not like mine singly or me and Steve's. Like, this is like all of us.
We want everybody in the thing to come up. Everybody, raise all crafts, do the whole thing. Just lift them all up. Let's go.
Yeah, and everybody email pictures of your animals over to stevecutlerlive@gmail.com. I'm going to have him do something cool with all those. Yes, we need Anuli in our intentional community. Yes, we need every one of us. Like, we all have different, like, talents and oh my gosh, there's just so much, like, that everybody has awareness of, and, like, it's crazy. I want to learn everything. I always want to learn everything.
Immensely talented people and just wise people in this little community of indie media and so on. Just like some serious motherfuckers, and everybody working together for a good, a common good is fucking tremendous, man. The shit that we can manifest is just, ridiculous. So I say, let's go. Everybody, come on. I did. I got emails. I got several emails of from a couple of different people.
Oh yeah, make sure you put your name in the email just in case, like, sometimes the names don't link up with everything.
Pretty much, I think everybody so far has been like, hey, this is serious, and hey, this is...
And we won't give them out. We're not, like, collecting your emails for anything weird or anything. You can always send them on Twitter or something, too.
Yeah, and for real, you know what I mean? We'll never, ever use your government name if you don't want us to, you know what I mean? So I don't use my government name, like, unless I have to. And people laugh at me when I say that, but it just, Lucky fits me. That's very cool, Noli. She has lots of pictures of animals and horse videos on her
that's
channel.
Awesome.
Of her daughter riding in competitions.
Really? That's so awesome.
Killer.
I love horses. I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I've done Reiki, and I find that horses they're very in tune with that. They accept Reiki healing energy very well. and it's really beautiful. I'll have to show you the pictures I have of this horse. I think it was like, I don't know, like 7 feet tall, and I'm 5'3", and the horse has got its head on my shoulder, and it's like trying to kiss me and everything like that. And it was like, it was at a farm up in Vermont, like where, and like the horse had been abused, and they were like, we're not sure, if you should approach it or this and that. This horse like followed me out of the barn, all through the paddock and everything. I was like, okay, I have to go see this horse. Like, I need to. And that's how the horse reacted to me. It was absolutely beautiful. Yes. Zip ties, duct tape, and some wire will fix most of everything, guys. Like,
that's right. That held my VW bus together for ages. Ages. A few coat hangers. I'm not gonna lie.
I had an old Volvo Turbo that its exhaust was held up by a coat hanger.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's fucking so many cars like that. Like, okay, who's getting under there? I know it's fucking slush and it's fucking 6 inches deep, but we gotta tie up that exhaust. We're gonna get busted if we go through town again.
Did you see what Choosy put up there? I always threatened, like, when my daughter was little, I used to be like, I'm going to duct tape you to the ceiling. Which obviously is, that would not probably be very possible.
Which one? He said
I put it on the screen. My friend Dick up in Ithaca used to have trouble with the neighbors across the hall, and they would hog tie and duct tape him until the cops came.
That's how you keep stuff in hand, I guess. I've seen similar things. Playing in the band for years, you see some crazy drunk people and crazy bar fights and just some fucking fucked up crazy shit. And sometimes I think, baling wire and duct tape is a good solid choice.
Oh, to get your channel, all you have to do is go over to like your page and just copy the link for one of your videos. If not, I'm sure we can have somebody grab that and put it in the link in the thing. Put the link in the chat. Oh my gosh, that's so cool, Jilly. Her dad built them battery powered mini car as a kid, 1958. That is so cool.
That's rad.
That is so awesome.
Especially for 1958. Holy shit. I think that's a thing that's lost on Americans now, is the ability to fix things. Like my stepdad could fix anything. Whether electronic, plumbing, carpentry, cars, whatever it was, he had the ability to fix it, right? And like all of his peers were like that as well. Like everybody grew up fixing cars with their dad or whatever, or just working on things manually and like that sort of tech oriented, right, career. And it's just like that tradition is just like fucking gone to the wayside, like big time, because those jobs don't fucking pay fucking shit, and there's no manufacturing jobs to apply those things to that you learn. It's so weird. Like, certain other fields, construction and automotive repair and all of these things have incorporated all the big tech computer stuff as well, but it just seems like it's not like as present. Like you don't meet as many people that know about that stuff as you used to. Like because I don't know when it waned, but I guess it probably started to wane in the 90s or whatever as the fucking internet
I think it was before that. Like what, repairing things?
Just like the idea that anything could be repaired. You don't throw it out. You don't throw out your vacuum cleaner.
I think it happened a lot in the 60s when plastic really became really, really popular.
Yeah. Because it was cheap enough to manufacture another fucking replacement.
Yep, and that's what it became.
So
is instead of repair, it was do that. But see, like when things break, like in our house, like the little green steam cleaner thing that I have, some parts like just didn't work on it. So I'm like, I'm not just gonna get rid of something. I'm gonna take it apart. I'm gonna see what maybe I can fix myself. And I did. I ordered the parts, and it's just like, never. I don't have a problem with it now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Did you
Life
see?
scales.
Did you see? Copwatch has birds that he breeds, and he has a Chihuahua mix with a golden retriever.
Awesome.
We have a bird. His name is Peaches. He's in the background. I don't know if you can hear. Yeah, he's like, ah.
Did you see Popeye's text? He's like, but all them guys that fix cars is Trumpers. Yeah,
Hey, that's your stereotype. I'm
That's
not.
a stereotype, man. I heard about them. Not supposed to follow those. Well, unless they work. It's very confusing and nuanced. I don't have time to explain it. Anyway, it's not just Trump guys that fix cars. Okay.
I'm so grateful for all you guys too. Like this has become such an amazing, experience because, like, I never was like, oh, I'm gonna start a podcast, but I felt like there was a niche for it, a need for it in our community where we can talk about the things that aren't so heavy, or how we can examine how we interact with others, and I don't know. I felt like it was good.
I've been accused of being a lesbian too because I like wearing bright colors and rainbow stuff.
My unicorn twin is here.
Unicorn twin?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that? Panda? Is that a panda?
No.
No, who was it? I don't know.
Can you see the screen?
I can't really see that well. B.S. Adams, I see. I see Copwatch. I see Bella Lagrisi. Mariana.
There you
I
go.
see. All right. I had it backwards.
Oh, no. Noli's boss is FaceTiming her.
Whoa.
Oh, my God. Jelly. You should go watch Mr. Wilson's stream from last night.
No, God. I urge each and every one of you not to watch that stream. I know that probably just enticed some of you, but believe me, it's a fucking poor career move. You're not going to like it. You'll be like, thanks, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, post a link to the video. I don't know. Do I know how to? I don't know how to do that on here, though.
Hi, Mariana. Nice to see you, girl. What? I'm behind, I guess, on my thing.
I think I'm behind, too.
If you don't love Biden, you're a Trumper. Yeah, I heard that one before, too. It's pretty funny how that works. Like, like, just stepping back from that whole, like, weird Facebook fear porn bubble that I used to live in, it's very, very strange. Like, the world is a much, much more complex, strange fucking, thing. It's so much more depth to it now. And, like, cutting away all that layer of MSM influence, or at least as much as you can do, is like it's like, I don't know, you're underwater and you got to get to the top of the water so you can take a breath, and then you take a breath of that without all that water in your way. And that's what it was like. It was like dirty, muddy fucking river water of deceit and lies and fucking imperialism. I'm really happy to not be in that. If we got to swim in it, fuck, whatever. But if, I don't want to swim underwater here. Okay, guys? That's all I'm saying. But yeah, it's really nice to have you all here. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to do a live stream in a little while and play some guitar, sing some songs.
Oh, Charlie Brown just came in.
Charlie Brown. I like that guy. He's one of them kindred people, too.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. I think it's just like there's a...
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Your vibe attracts your tribe. That's exactly what I was going to say, only I was going to say it differently, but that's better.
You know what's one way that I really find that breaks the stereotypes? It's really this amazing thing that happens. Because, okay, so little Leo is my service dog. So he is just, he's always with me. And, I call him my shadow. And, where is Leo? Leo! Huh? Where is he? Oh, he's right over there. Come here.
Hey,
Can you help me get him? He's over there.
Come on, Goober.
We say, pass the puppy.
It's like,
Here you
pass me
are.
that dog.
Here you are. So this little guy unites like everybody. It's really this amazing thing that happens. So, we're out at the store. Hi, baby. Hi. We're out the store and he sits in the little cart and he's really super cute and everybody wants to say hi to him. So I interact with people that I might not normally go up and just talk to. I mean, I do talk to everybody. Even though I'm in New England, see, that's another thing. It's a stereotype that people don't talk to each other in, New England and they look at you like you have two heads. And yeah, that does happen a lot. But I'm not going to stop talking to people. If they act weird about it, I'm just like, okay, whatever. But, it's really interesting. I'm like, how many people fall into that just because they're here? How many people fall into certain, what do you think of when you think of Texas? Or, the West Coast or, Vermont, Florida, how do you, because I don't think about them as Democrat or Republican. I don't think about them in that way. I
think people think about Texas as a red state. They just see it. Oh, they're all Republicans that live there.
But I mean, do people see it as a
that.
developed state, or do they think about it as the wild, wild
Yeah,
west?
no,
Everybody's in
they
cowboys and
they think it's backwards. Their governors are all idiots, and that's how it always is forever. Amen. And they're a bunch of Christian right wingers, carrying AR-15s to church every day. It's crazy. Crazy talk. I don't think all the Texans are like that. Just like 98% of them.
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know. That's a lot of people.
I don't know that many
do
Texans.
not know.
I only know 4, and they're really, really fucking cool heads. So I don't know if that's the average, that you meet, or most of them really just hippies that love fish, or I don't know how that works exactly. They're all just dudes from Widespread Panic Tour, as far as I know.
So what I want to kind of leave you guys with is I challenge you to be aware of these things. And when you do find, you think about your thoughts, when you first meet somebody or you're watching something on TV, like Steve was saying earlier in the stream, he assumed that this lady that had made an eco-village was rich based on what she was wearing. And we could do that automatically, but just try to think about it and challenge yourself if you do that. And
I did.
Ask others, challenge others when they do that too, because the ripple effect it's going to happen. It just takes one of us standing up. So if we all start doing that and are authentic with each other, then that's going to spread. And see, I want everyone to hold me to the same account that I'm holding, them. I'm going to call people out, and I want them to call me out too. If I'm doing something, tell me. I'm a straight up person. If I'm upset with somebody, I'll tell you. And I don't hold that grudge. And I find that I can find the middle ground with just about anybody. And I've had people around me that have been Steve saw it firsthand. I had somebody come by that I hadn't had around since high school days. And I didn't think I didn't assume that, he was going to be a racist fuck. And then when he said stuff, I'm like, whoa, buddy, whoa. Let's have a conversation about this. And let's have an honest conversation about this. Because first off, that's not okay in my house. And what is this based on? What are you basing this on? Completely called him out, wanted to know why, and challenged him on his reasons. And he kind of gave me that look like, shit, you just broke my freaking head, man. It will happen if you just challenge people on the things that they say, whether, whatever prejudice it is. Because remember, prejudice is can turn into stereotypes, and then that can turn into discrimination. And then we automatically will have that reaffirmed, because we'll also look for it to reaffirm it in our minds. You know, if you want somebody to be something, you can find a way to make them that. You can find a way to put them in that label. And then we can also put ourselves in those labels and get ourselves stuck where we are not, you know, we're not being authentic, and we're not pushing ourselves to do things because we think like, okay, well, you know, in my mind, that has not ever been something that, you know, like we have to break these molds, you know? Okay. So remember that the division is what drives the discrimination that happens. So when we find somebody is completely on the other side of something, and we want to, you know, we're like, shit, you know, you have that guttural reaction to be like, no, screw them. I just want to cancel them because that's easier on you. Like it's easier for your brain to process it that way. And trying to not, like, you don't want to put too much energy into somebody that's not going to listen, you know, to that. But also we don't know what somebody's upbringing was or what got there to that point. And just pointing it out, you can change a mind or plant a seed that can make a huge difference. And I just want all of us to, you know, to think about that we can be that one person that stands up that affects the whole group of people.
I'd like to say that despite what Three Dog Night says, 1 is not the loneliest number, because 1 is the number it takes to change everything. And I found the unicorns in the rainbow emoticons.
This is so true. See, a critical mass of critical thinking, just what we need.
Where's your letter? Did you hide it from me?
No, I think you have it.
I don't.
Oh no, I have it. You know what's crazy? If I'll like miss something, I'm like, did you take this? And Steve will be like, no. And then sometimes it's like, oh, now that I asked, I found it. But I'll
now
call,
that you didn't take it.
but I'll call myself out. I'll be like, man, you know, it's because you often steal the lighter. You know, it happens like a lot of the time. So I do apologize when it wasn't, you know, that.
That's the that is on point, Bella. 1 is all, and we are all, and we are 1. So be all to everyone, and be yourself, and everything to yourself as well.
I don't know what happens to the socks. I think there's like a sock monster, and
I'll tell you what happens is there's socks and there's guitar picks. And the socks and the guitar picks are in the same place, because I lose both of them equally at the same rate. And I'm sure they're just piled up in some little, you know, fucking little nook that somebody built between dimensions, so you can't just, you know, you can't just see them. I don't know. Fucking Time Lords, man. You guys like Doctor Who? What were we talking about?
the dryer eats them, I guess.
The dryer eats the socks. I don't know. I don't know if it eats the guitar picks too, but I lose them just as rapidly.
And there's a lot of guitar picks around here, guys.
That is absolutely spot on, Charlie Brown's.
So I hope that you guys got something out of this, and I hope that maybe it will challenge you to think about the way you the way you say things, and the way that, you might categorize yourself, and, push past that. Push past our own prejudices about ourselves, about others, and just try to come together, reach out to that person, or just, say something kind to somebody. You never know if they're having a bad day and how you might influence that. Because remember, you might be one person, but together there's all of us, and we have power in that. We can positivity. We can spread that positivity and find it and insert it wherever we can, and just keep going. That's all we can do, I think.
I think that was what I was saying, was the fact that all of us are part of the same consciousness, experiencing itself individually. If everybody tries to manifest positivity, it can only breed more positivity.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing as like how, our vibe attracts our tribe, and we're building this beautiful tribe of people. And, a lot of times people think of tribe as like, a division thing. But to me, I think about it as like we have an inclusive tribe where it's like, come and be with us and share your opinions and your talents. And let's see where, we can improve on ourselves and, challenge each other and see how we can do that as a whole. Like when we do that, it's not for, it doesn't have to be a negative thing when we challenge each other or critique each other or like the thoughts that we have or the way we approach things. It's because we, for me personally, it's because I want better. I want better for all of us. I want all of us to, to question things and to, to be authentic. And I think that's the best way that we can maintain our sanity.
There's some wise people in this chat room, man. Just reading the stuff that's going by as you're saying that, I'm just like, wow. Yeah, man.
Yes, we need to uplift each other. Yes.
Much love, people. We love you.
We love you so much.
And
I'm just going to highlight a couple
we're
of
going to
these.
play some tunes here shortly.
Yeah,
Probably
you guys see that?
11.
He's like itching. He's like,
I got
come on.
you. I'm so
You're done.
antsy.
You're done. I want to
Let's
play
go.
the guitar.
It's my turn. Mom.
I appreciate every one of you. And I'm so glad you guys joined us. And I know that, there's holidays coming up. And a lot of people feel really alone in that. But we actually don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And we can talk about that later. Like on Thanksgiving, we can talk about that. But so we're going to be around. Don't feel lonely.
That was wrong, the way you just said that. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but we'll talk about that on Thanksgiving. Wait a second. What do you mean?
Well,
I know what you
mean. We don't celebrate that day that people identify as Thanksgiving.
Right, but we can talk about it on that day.
Yeah, we can talk about why.
It was just funny how you phrased it. I knew that's what you were saying, obviously, but it was very funny.
So yeah, we'll definitely, we'll be around that day. I know a lot of people are going to be with family or this or that, but we're here for you too. If you need you want to stop in and hang out with us, I'm sure we'll be on and off that day.
Yeah, and any of you guys that since we have this StreamYard thing, if anybody wants to be on the podcast, just you guys should all have a story or have something to say and come on and do it. Talk about your hopes and fears and dreams and your own stereotypes that you are considering.
Yes,
fully
Kate,
now.
We're definitely going to do some Thanksgiving, day stuff. Or, just a regular Thursday for us. But,
Yeah.
we're definitely going to be on, and we'll probably be on and off a lot that day, just, so people can stop in. People can have music if they want with their dinner or, being with family or just being, hanging out with us.
Yeah,
I think
I'd
that
like
would
to
be a beautiful thing.
play a happy hour set around 6 or something, and I don't know.
We'll be on.
I don't know what fucking time of day it is at any given point, so we'll figure it out, and we'll let you know as soon as we do.
We love you. Take care of each other and be fearlessly authentic and spread that. Namaste.